Okay, all right. So we're going to teach you guys some more advanced techniques for the guitar at the beginning level, and what those are called are hammer-ons and pull-offs. Okay, and you will also need these to play a piece that's coming up. So we might as well start working on them now. Okay, a pull-off is exactly what you think it is. Okay, and I'm going to do more videos like to fully explain this. Okay. So what I'm going to do, for example, is I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to put it anywhere on the neck. 7th fret is a good place to start. Okay, and in my right hand, I'm going to pick the note. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull down on my finger like so, and that's going to kind of pick the open string. Okay, and a hammer-on is the opposite. It's where you play a note and then you hammer a finger down hard on the neck to make that note sound. So in this case, I'm going to play an open string and then hammer my finger down on the 7th fret, like so. Okay, so here's some exercises that you can do to help you practice that technique. Okay, so our first video for pull-offs is an exercise that I like to do that involves the major scale, or it can be any other scale you want. I'll give you an alternative at the end, a very cool one. So first of all, where is a major scale on your first string? So we have the frets open, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and finally 12. And back down. Okay, so we're going to use one technique and we're going to apply this all the way up the neck, all the way up that scale. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out with 4 open strings. Okay, you could just use one finger if you like, but if you want to get faster, do rest strokes with both fingers. Okay, so 4 open strings to start out. Then we're going to go to our second note of the major scale, 2nd fret. And what we're going to do, watch carefully, is we're going to pick the note, pull off, and then do 2 more picks. Keep going up the scale, 4th fret, pull off, do 2 picks. And then keep working your way up the scale like that. I'll do it very slow. 7, bad pull off. Okay, we can go back down. I'll do this a little faster. Okay, so here's the whole exercise. Okay, and now the same idea with hammer-ons instead of pull-offs. So once again, a hammer-on is when you play one note of anywhere on the guitar, for example, and then you hammer a finger down to make a different note. Now the big trick is that you don't pick that hammered note. So for example, I used in the intro video, I used this. So pick, hammer in your left hand. Okay, so we're going to use the same major scale, except we're going to do hammer-ons instead of pull-offs. So here's what that looks like. 4 open strings. Okay, now pick your first note in the next sequence. So we're going to pick an open, and then you're going to hammer your finger on fret 2, and then pick 2 more times. So it looks like this. Okay, one more time slow. Okay, and we're going to work our way up the neck just like we did before with the major scale. Hammer, back down. Okay, and a little faster. Looks like my time's up for the day. What you can't see is there's now people cutting the grass in front of my building. Can you hear it? Listen carefully. Okay, so I'm going to conclude this on a different day. Yeah, I hope it went well for you. It's a crazy world of hammer-ons and pull-offs. It opens up a whole bunch of doors. Okay, thanks. Okay, so it looks like the landscapers aren't making any noise anymore. This is actually like a week later, but it's important. I wanted to actually take some time to think about different types of exercises for hammer-ons and pull-offs that you could do. Here's a really fun one. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to start on the second string, okay, and you want to go to the fourth fret, and you want to pluck that fourth fret, and then you want to pull off to the open string. Okay. Then take a different finger, maybe your third finger, and go up to 7 and do a pull off there. Once again to the open string. Okay? So you go back and forth between those two. I'll do it very slowly. Okay? And then you do that about 8 times, I think. And then you're going to move that up, do the same thing, but just 1 fret higher. So starting on 5 and up to 8. Okay, so here's what that sounds like. Slow. Okay, and you want to build up some speed when you can. Okay, so that's a fun one. Now, if you're like for your final presentation, if you're a bit more of a rock guitar player, you can also, that's actually a real song. And that's AC/DC. That's the song called Thunderstruck. Okay, and I'll see if I can remember how to play the whole thing. But for your warm-ups, all I want you to do is try this one and then move it up to 5 and 8. Okay, but here's Thunderstruck. Okay, and if you want to like actually learn how to play that whole song, just look up the tab online. It's such an iconic guitar classic that you should have no problems finding good tablature for it. Okay, so moving on. We've talked about things, hammer-ons and pull-offs that you can do with open strings. Okay, now I'm going to show you a couple ones that you can do up the neck. Okay, for example, we can do hammer-ons with fingers 1 and 2. So I'm plucking the first string, the first note, and then hammering my finger down. Okay, and likewise, you can do pull-offs. So you're going to pick the first note on 12, and then pull your finger down, and you'll get the sound of the note on the 11th. If you can do that with fingers 1 and 2, you can certainly do it with fingers 1 and 3. Okay. Likewise, doing pull-offs. Pick 12, pull down. You get the sound of 10. Okay, and even harder than that, of course, is to do fingers 1 and 4. Pick the first fret, hammer your pinky down. pull off. Okay, so you can do that, of course, on all of your strings. Any one, fingers 1 and 2, 1 and 3, or 1 and 4. Okay? So now, step 2. If you can do that on one string, then you can do that going down the strings as well. Okay? So check out fingers 1 and 2, low E string, then moving down. Or pull-offs. Okay, and you can also do that with fingers 1 and 3 and 1 and 4. Here's hammer-ons. Pull-offs. Okay, all right. Now, think about this. If you can do that with all of your fingers, you can also do that for the pentatonic scale. 5th fret, hammer on. Okay, and pull off. Good. Now, you can also do this for blues. Okay, before we do the blues scale, let's look at one thing. For example, we can do multiple hammer-ons as well, too. So I'm going to pick the first note and do hammer-on, hammer-on. And pull-offs. Okay, so when you do the blues scale, you can combine those techniques. Hammer-on. Okay, so you can do hammer-on and pull off of the blues.